Hey, my Legion, how y'all doing today? I'm wearing a nice shirt that Heather got me. I'm here for a movie review. I'm reviewing Jack the Giant Killer. Now, I saw this on Netflix, and I said, 2013, I said, oh, cool, it's a big budget movie that I think Warner Brothers did or something like that. That's what I thought it was. And then I found out that that movie's called Jack the Giant Slayer. Now, Jack the Giant Killer is made from the Asylum, the same people did Sharknado. And I like the Sharknado movie, so. And some movies by this side, some are terrible. I mean, some are bad, they're so bad they're good, like Sharknado for the most part, or, but Jack the Giant Killer, oh, God. It's not rated, but I'd probably give it a mild PG-13. It was trying to be more aimed to the kids, but there was a little bit of violent content that would probably make it a little more into a mild PG-13 instead of a PG. But I mean, when I say violent, I don't mean exciting or interesting. Basically, it revolves around this kid Jack. It looked like you're in I know they're in another country. It looked like Ireland, then it turned out to look more like England. And it starts out he's talking with his mom and dad. He said, "You aren't my real dad," and stuff like that. And turned out his dad was missing. Well, his dad was gone. And then on his 18th birthday, this guy came knocking on the door and said, "Hey, my dad, your dad told me to give you this on your 18th birthday in this satchel." And he said, "We don't want nothing to do with you." His parents, or his, well, whoever was watching with his parents, his stepdad said, "Hey, we don't want you around here." And the guy goes, "Hey, catch!" Like that. And Jack caught it. And he was riding his motorcycle around with his girlfriend. He opened up his magic beans. Now, the beans looked like crap. I didn't know what they looked. They looked like big, giant, burnt pork rind things. Really weird looking. And he went like this, and he threw them, and he said, "Well, I know what they're at then." And then apparently he goes to sleep or something. It seemed like about 2 seconds later, a giant beanstalk grows. And the beanstalk looks like crap, though. But, I mean, so far, I'm enjoying the movie. And he goes up the beanstalk. This big branch comes and grabs him. And it takes him up in, like, this cloud land. You see, like, these these dinosaur creatures. That, I mean, they're giant monsters. They kind of look like a stegosaurus, kind of. Not the best CGI, but... But at first it looks pretty good. And there's a floating castle. And the floating castle looked really cool. At least for a while it did. And he had a floating castle. He went inside. Everything showing him go up and into the castle looked incredibly cheap. Including like a steering wheel. They had a steering wheel and it looked like a little fake green screen in the background. Really fake. Very safe. It doesn't look like anything in reality whatsoever. And they end up going down, and inside's like a foundry. And they said like there's this fire for stoking, fire with a barely big little teeny tiny little flame that wouldn't power anything. It's supposed to power the ship. First of all, that wasn't convincing at all. It was in a foundry, and then they go to this other castle inhabited by a queen. Oh! I forgot to tell you the main thing. He talked about the monsters, and he said his dad said I killed the giant when I was up here, and then that makes the monsters. There's no equalize. The monsters pretty much roam on their own. So the giant is dead. Always killed already. And they didn't show anything about it. The guy said, "Well, I killed the giant." When he was up here, his dad. And so right away, how can you have a story of Jack and the Beanstalk without the giant? That's like Jack and the Beanstalk 101. I mean, you have to have a giant. I mean, the dinosaurs are bad guys and stuff like that, but you have to have a giant. I mean, Mickey and the Beanstalk, they had a giant in that, and a really good giant in that one. Anyways, they go to this castle, and the outside castle looks good, and then when they go inside, it looks like some of the footage I took from the old church video, like going up the spiral stair, and a couple of things looked really fake, and then they had a couple of elaborate hallways, and there was like a evil queen, or kind of half-assed evil queen, who's very attractive, though, by the way. And then he said that she wanted to go down to Earth to find her mother and stuff like that. And they had another, the beanstalk disintegrated, and his girlfriend ran away, and she went to this one place. She reached her pocket. She pulled out one of the magic beans, which is complete bullshit, because when he opened up that satchel, there were 2 beans in there, and she looked at one. She handed it back to him. He had both of them in his hand, and he threw them away. There was not a third one, so that's a lie right there. She buries it in the ground, and then a giant beanstalk pops up in the middle of downtown England or whatever. And she goes up, and then you see the military there. And when you see the military and the cops, it reminds you a lot like Monty Python, especially with the military. From Meaning of Life, it says, "Do anyone want to march up and down the square?" Like that scene looks a lot like it. And very silly dialogue. The military wanted to chop it down, and the guy said, "Go for it." And then a guy said, "I'm the owner of this property. I don't want this chopped down." It said, "Why do you want this done?" It's just a beanstalk. It looks like it's not going to hurt nobody or bother nobody. I mean, that was meant to be funny. I mean, it's Monty Python-esque, but nowhere near as good as Monty Python, of course. And she's up there, and then the evil queen, the evil queen decides to take those dinosaur creatures back down to Earth with her because she could cast a spell on the beanstalk. And they go down, and people are trying to fight them. And it just gets worse. I mean, it starts to really get really bad, especially the last half hour. I mean, they run out of money. They have the cheapest effects. So she's supposed to be running a dinosaur. There's no human interaction with the models except for a motorcycle scene. And then that scene that's in the beginning with Jack, and the scene is the exact same scene at the end. And there's not much. I'm not giving away any spoilers. What you see at the beginning is what you see at the end. And it's very boring. But, I mean, the scene with the motorcycle is terrible. But she goes down with the dinosaurs. But, I mean, when you see her, she's supposed to be riding a dinosaur. You just see her go like this. But you don't see her on the dinosaur at all. And then there's a scene where she lowers down a rope. It looks really fake. And there's a scene where she jumps off. It looks like she jumped off from the height of this. It was awful. I mean, I really enjoyed it for a while. And then it just got kind of silly, but passable. And then it just got really awful. I mean, really awful. The last half hour, last 40 minutes, half hour really suck. I mean, really sucks. It's really cheap. I mean, it looks like they had like so much money in their hand, and like every second someone's taking $1 away, and it gets cheaper and cheaper looking. The first 20 minutes I really enjoyed it, and then it started to falter some with that thing about how many magic beans there were. And then they said he found another bean or something like that, and there was only 2 beans in that satchel. I saw it at the beginning. Really horrible movie. Now, I remember the original Jack the Giant Killer was made back in 1961. I remember seeing a trailer for that. I bought well, first of all, the remake of the Jack the Giant Killer from 2013, Asylum made, gets a very mild 2 out of 10. And it's lucky it got that just because I was very entertained for the first 20 minutes, and then it started to falter, but it's awful. I mean, it's on Netflix. Avoid it. I thought it was a big budget one. I wanted to see that, but oh well. Like 2 out of 10, very mild. Now, it was a Jack the Giant Kill from 1962. I remember I bought this VHS tape from Good Times Home Entertainment that had all these different trailers of movies and stuff, including Ray Harryhausen. Believe Ray Harryhausen. Someone else did the claymation, they call it Dynamation back then. I believe it was called that in this one too. And this was more of like a monster, but aimed towards kids, with the monsters not looking as menacing as some of the monsters in like the Sinbad movies that Harryhausen did. I mean, that was really entertaining. I really enjoyed that. And I saw that, remember seeing that my Aunt Helen's in 92 or 93 back on TBS, when TBS used to be really good. Have like really good stuff. And it was like that, and then they had Captain Sinbad after that, which I enjoyed too. I wish that station would go back to footage formats like that. I really enjoyed that, showing the old classics. Now they show the same crap on any other station shows. But a 2 out of 10 for Jack the Giant's Killer. But the original Jack the Giant Killer from 1962 gets a I haven't seen it such a long time. 8 or 9. I really enjoyed it, but this, Asylum ruined it again. 'Cause, I mean, at least they have some human interaction on Sharknado. You know, it looks fake, but it's entertaining in its own stupid way. And this one just sucks in a very unentertaining and stupid way. So, oh my God. A 2 out of 10 for Jack the Giant Killer made in 2013 from the Asylum. Not to be confused with the big budget one, which is what I wanted it to be, but of course it wasn't, on Netflix. So until next time, bye please. Take care of my legion.